Hello, everybody. Hi there. Ken Oliver here. Thanks for joining me today for Shop Small Saturday. I'm really happy that we're going to get to craft together today. I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to kind of get situated in your craft room with what you're doing, and I'm going to log on to make sure that we are live and where we should be. I hope you had a wonderful holiday, really nice Thanksgiving. I sure did. And I hope you had lots of happy people around you and lots to be thankful for. We all do. This will just take me a minute to get logged in here to make sure that I'm live. I just like to make sure that I'm live so I can see what's going on and answer any comments or questions. Please, when you join in, let me know that you're watching. Give me a hi, give me a thumbs up. And I'm not very fancy with my technology, so it'll take me just a minute to make sure that we're on here. There we go. I see I'm live now. Good deal. All right. Hi, everybody. Welcome, welcome. So today I'm doing a demo, and I don't know if you get like me, but I get so overwhelmed with the holidays that I sometimes just need to go into fast production mode for creating cards. And one way that I like to do that is kind of like keeping it simple. So today I'm going to use one stencil and show you a bunch of different ways to make cards with one stencil, and just keep it real simple along the way. The stencil that I'm going to be using is from the Crafters Workshop, and it's new. It's an A2 stencil. It's a layered stencil, and it's called Layered Snowflakes Holly Frame. And you can see that there are two frames on it. One has holly berries and one has snowflakes. And then there are two sentiments. One says Merry Christmas and one says Season's Greetings. And what we're going to do today is try to get as many cards made out of this as possible. But I'm going to do it by focusing on colorways or by color themes. So we're going to use traditional color themes. We're going to use red and green, red and white, red and gold, and craft and white. Those are really classic combinations, some of the most beautiful and best-selling combinations in decor, wrap, cards, everything Christmas. Those are the best-selling combinations. So I thought just for me, that's kind of how I process and work on things. And so in doing that, we're going to create just some of the most gorgeous Christmas cards that you'll ever make. And the thing is that it's going to be fast. So you can kind of get these things going almost like in production mode, and it'll be fun. So this stencil you can get at kenolivercrafts.com, and it's A2 layered snowflakes and holly frame. And it's a layered A2 stencil, so it lets you make A2 size cards, the classic cards that pretty much everybody likes to make and send. Classic size, they're 5.5 by 4.25. And they've taken all the guesswork out of it at the Crafters Workshop. These stencils make it easy to make those beautiful cards. I see folks are watching now. Hey, happy Saturday, everybody. Happy Shop Small Saturday. Thank you so much again for letting me be here today and be part of the one-of-a-kind event. It's always my favorite thing to do. And while you're shopping at kenolivercrafts.com today, I've got just a couple of specials that I'd like to remind you of. One, there's a discount code that's called CLEAR, CLEAR, CLEAR. And when you use that code, it's all capitals. When you use that code at KenOliverCrafts.com, you will get, oh, now I can't remember. It's an amazing amount. I think it's like 75% off clear stamps. Now that's while supplies last, and like while supplies last, because when I sell out of them, a lot of them were discontinued, and I'm not going to be restocking some of those clear stamps. So like, check it out, CLEAR, clear, and that will give you huge discount on clear stamps. And second, I've also put a code in just for 20% off your order across the board. Now, that code is SHOP, SHOP, all caps. But to get that discount, the minimum order is $40. So it's SHOP for 20% off. But here's the thing: like, I can't combine those specials. So like, if you want to get the deal on the clear stamps, that's one order, and you can do that. And then if you use the code SHOP, that's a separate order, and I have to do them separately. I can't like put them together just because of like, I've already given 75% off of these other stamps, so I don't want you to like get another, or I can't, like, if I give you another 20%, there's like, I might as well just send them to you for free, and I'd be glad to do that. But at some point, like, I have to like make sure that I'm getting my money back on them. But like, that's the thing. One for clear stamps is clear, CLEAR, and no minimum there. And get, I think it's up to 70% off or 75% off your clear stamps. That's one special. The other one is 20% off orders $40 and over with the code SHOP, SHOP, all caps. And without any more yabber jabber from me, we should get started making some beautiful Christmas cards. I'm going to turn my camera down so you can see my desk and watch what we've got going on. And just keep in mind, if you're crafting along with me, playing along with me today, I'm probably going to work fast because we've got about 30, 45 minutes. And this is mostly for demo time. So like, I'm going to demo it. You want to make the cards like me, you can come back and watch later, because I didn't really put out a kit for anything today. I really just recommended to get this stencil because I'm going to show you a lot of ways to use it. So I'm going to turn my camera down now and we'll get started. Hey Terry, hey Becky, how you guys doing? I hope you're having a good day. It's a beautiful day. Now, don't you love that stencil? I sure do. That's why I wanted to use it today, because it's like so versatile, and it's going to let us create a lot of cards pretty fast, I think. Pretty fast. So I've already got one unwrapped, and I'll hold it up a little closer so you can see it. It's got basically a Merry Christmas and a Season's Greeting. One frame has holly leaves, one frame has snowflakes. And you can make at least 4 different versions of cards with this. For instance, if you put the Merry Christmas with the snowflakes, if you put the Merry Christmas with the hollies, if you put the Season's Greetings with the snowflakes, if you put the Season's Greetings with the hollies, there's like probably a lot more ways that you can mix it up. And I was going to do I'm not smart enough to do this though. I was going to do a statistical analysis to try to figure out like how many combinations you could use, like with, like bits and pieces and parts of doing this. But I don't think I could figure that out because I'm not really good at math all that much. But I know there's at least 4 ways you can make beautiful cards here. Now, the first colorway that we're going to do is red and green. Red and green is the most classic color combination for Christmas, and the one that everybody loves. And I'll show you like what that looks like. Here's one that I made in advance with hollies and Merry Christmas. So that's what we're going to work on first. And I've already got my papers cut. Since we're working with A2 cards, that's pretty easy. You start with the 8.5 by 11 piece of cardstock and cut that in half, then fold that in half, and you've got an A2 size card. And then making the mats and everything is just easy because you just trim them down by 1/4 inch for each one. So the first thing we're going to do is create this beautiful Merry Christmas card with ink. And we're going to use red and green color palette. Now I'm going to tape my paper down because I want it to stay flat during the time that we're working. But you can see like this frame stencil actually goes all the way to the edge of the stenciled area. So to hold my paper in place, I put a piece of low-tack paper on the back side of my cardstock, and then I'm going to lay that down. And if you're using, a stamp platform, you've probably got magnets to hold it in place. That's just my low-tech way of doing it because I'm not always real fancy. I just do things like the old-fashioned way, the way that they make sense. And I'm going to tape my stencil down over my cardstock, and I'm just going to line up the lines on this stencil so that they match my cardstock. The cool thing, and it's hard to see in the camera, is that the stencils from the Crafter's Workshop actually have like little registration lines that like help you keep things in place. And I'm using low-tack tape. I think it's called Pixie tape from Thermoweb. Fun tape to use. Pixie tape. I'm just going to lay that down. And with green ink, and you can use any green ink that you have on hand. I would use like a distress ink or just any of your inks, kind of a dye-based ink. And I'm using a brilliant bright color lime green because I want to have like a really bright Christmas card. I'm just going to ink that surface. And I'm using a cosmetic brush. Everybody's got their favorite ink blenders to use. I'm using a cosmetic brush. Again, because I'm pretty much like low tech on a lot of things and like to do things a simple way. There we go. We've got a nice impression made with that beautiful ink. Look at that. And I want to, the next thing we're going to do is create the Merry Christmas with some red ink. And same thing, I'm just taping my paper down. And I'm going to line this up. There's a little registration line around this Merry Christmas that lets you see like where you need to be. I'm not even going to tape the stencil down because I'm just going to hold it the whole time. And we'll grab some red ink. And this is the fastest way to make Christmas cards. Of the ways I'm showing today, this is the fastest, quickest way. So like if you're taking a Christmas card to a party or something and you forgot to make it and it's the very last minute, it's time to go, you need a card, this is your go-to. This is your go-to for sure. So see, that's beautiful, easy. Now I've already got my cardstock cut. I've got A2 card ready, a mat ready. Got a mat ready for this. And we're going to put this together and make a gorgeous card out of this. On my samples, I use pop dots to give everything a little more dimension, but you don't have to if you don't have any. I'm in a hurry, I'm going to use a glue stick. OOAK glue stick. I don't know if people call it yoo-hoo, but I do because it sounds funny. Yoo-hoo! That is beautiful. Look how easy that is. Now we're gonna and then that's going to go on this green piece. Oops. And it might be a little cattywampus, but that's all right. Your friends are going to know that it's handmade. And anybody who gets a card from me would know that at times things might be a little cattywampus. Because I live in the real world. Now we're going to put this on top of the red cardstock. And I'm going to give this a little shot of glue on the back, some of the glue stick again. And look at that gorgeous Christmas card, ready to send, ready to give. And, you know, it didn't take a lot of time to do it. Now, I really want to take this to the next level. If you've got a little bit of extra time, here's what you can do. We're going to use some stencil butter. We're going to use barn red stencil butter, barn red. And I've got a tiny little cosmetic applicator here. It's kind of like a Q-tip. It's like, or it's a makeup applicator, I guess. One side's kind of like a Q-tip and one side's kind of pointy. We're going to use the pointy side, and I'm going to grab out a little bit, and I'm talking just like a tiny little bit on each one of these, or on this little pointy part. And we're going to make some holly berries just very easily. You can see I've kind of made some here just to kind of show you like what we're going to do. They're not going to be perfectly circular. They're going to look like, holly berries aren't going to look perfectly circular. And it just takes a tiny little bit. And you could put, if you wanted to use beads on here, you could use beads. If you wanted to use a tiny sequin, you could use a tiny sequin, just anything to give it a little bit of extra oomph and make it a little more showy. And again, you wouldn't have to do this. But I love this red barn color of stencil butter. And you know I love using stencil butters from the Crafters Workshop. So this is a great way to use some of that stuff from your stash. Something you already have on hand. Now look at that. Isn't that beautiful? And easy to do. Oh, I love this one. Now, I'm not going to pause here for very long because the next color combination that we're going to use is red and white. Red and white. And, you know, I've got two versions of this card here. One without the holly berries and one with the holly berries. So either way, it's a great traditional Christmas card. The most popular color palette in Christmas and most popular icons too. Holly berries and holly leaves. So I'm going to set these aside so they can dry. And the next colorway or color palette that we're going to use is red and white. And I'm still going to be using the same stencil, but this time we're going to use the snowflakes and the season's greeting side. And it's almost the same thing, but just this little twist is going to make it look so different. And red and white has always been a really well-loved color palette. It's kind of like that Nordic color palette, you know, like the red and white sweaters and red and white embroidery that you'll see around the holidays. So using this color palette evokes like all of those kind of like Nordic kind of feelings. So this time we're going to use the snowflakes. Again, very popular icon for the holidays. And I'm going to tape that in place with some pixie tape. And what I love about what we're doing today right here is it's one stencil, but it's going to make a lot of different looks. And I'm going to grab some red ink. We're going to ink this background red. Just take that brush and just blend it. Doesn't take a lot of blending, but I am kind of like doing my blending in a kind of a circular motion so that we get an even coverage. And remember, like with the kind of dye-based ink that I'm using, if you were using your distressed inks, you can add layers and layers to make the color darker. So I just took a little time there to add it, you know, that make that color a little bit darker. So we'll lift that off. See that beautiful red and white. See what a classic Christmas look that is? That's beautiful. And then we're going to do the season's greeting part, and we're going to do that in red ink too. So the whole look that we're doing is red and white. Red and white. Everything red and white's really popular. Mittens, gift wrap. Oh, I did not tape my stencil down because I thought it was going to be so tricky because I could hold it in place the whole time and I felt it slip. Who else does that? Raise of hands. Do you ever let your stencil slip? I do. It looks like it's okay. See how pretty that is? Simple and pretty. So I'm going to grab my glue stick again. Just give it a little hit of glue. And I've got a mat that's already cut for the season's greetings. Cute. Gonna give this some glue with the glue stick. You know, I like using liquid glue or glue stick because you can actually move your pieces around a little bit. If you don't get them exactly where you want them, you have an opportunity to kind of move it around a little bit. Mine are a little bit cattywampus, but again, like, here we are. My friends know that if they get anything from me, it's probably going to be a little bit cattywampus. Thank you. I hear some activity there. It might be, I think it's probably orders going in. Now look how cute that is. Okay, so now I'm loving that card. Easy peasy. Easy peasy. So if we've got a whole bunch of cards to make to get them all out by, you know, like in the next day or two, this is like the perfect way to do it. So one thing that I feel coming on right now is if I want to gussy this card up just a little bit, I've got a bunch of sequins right here, and we're just going to put some sequins on this. Some light came on by accident. I'm turning it out. We're going to put some sequins right on the Season's Greetings, and I'm going to use some red sequins. And I've got a whole big box of mixed sequins here, and I love using sequins this way. It's probably the most ineffective way that you can do it, but to me, part of like the fun of using sequins is going through and searching for the right one, the right color that I want to use. Don't ask me why. It's one of those weird things. Red. And this particular part of the stencil would also look really nice in blue and white, and it would look nice in red, white, and blue. Just as I was kind of doing my prep and setup for this, this would look really good with blue around the snowflakes and red for the mats and red for the sentiment. Look how pretty that is. Now we've got just a little bit of sparkle on there. I'm loving this. Really, really pretty. And again, easy. It's a classic color pattern or color palette that a classic color palette goes a long way. And so that is like perfect. Great for a neighbor card, great for a teacher card, great for friends. Really cute, cute card. So I'm going to put this aside because we've got lots of ground to cover, and I think I only have till 1 o'clock, and I've got way too much to do between now and then. Okay, so the next color palette that I have to go over is red and gold. Red and gold is a classic and one of the most popular color palettes around. So I want to pay homage to that in a really nice way using gold foil, gold cardstock, mirror stock, and we're going to use tacky when dry and champagne gold foil from the Crafters Workshop. So we're going to combine this champagne gold foil with red cardstock, gold mirror cardstock, and tacky when dry. And this is going to be a beautiful classic card that you'll be proud to give to anyone. It's going to be a little bit more upscale than what we've just done with ink. So you'll have to pardon me for a second because I'm going to wash my stencil off because it has a little bit of this ink on it. But luckily I've got a stencil bath right here beside my desk, and I've got a roll of paper towels here. So we're going to do a little bit of cleanup. It's to be expected. And while I'm doing this cleanup, just remember that there is a discount code today. Discount code for 20% off orders of $20 or $40 or more is SHOP, SHOP, all in caps. And that's going to give you 20% off your entire order. The other discount I have going on is for clear stamps, and I think it's 75% off. I'm not sure to check that percentage, but I think it's that. And that code is CLEAR, 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 all in caps. And that'll give you 75% off of clear stamps. I've got them all ready to go, and it's while supplies last. So a lot of them are discontinued. I'm not restocking them, so it's good as long as quantities last, as long as supplies last. And the only thing is I can't combine those specials together. So if you want to get some cheap stamps, that's one order. And then if you want to get the 20% off, that's a second order. And that's just how my system's set up. So now we're going to use the same stencil to create a beautiful foiled card. And I've got ready red cardstock, because we're doing red and gold. And I've cut it in half, so like I would just have like this, you know, like the one that we're working on. And I'm going to tape this down in place so it doesn't move. We're going to be using this tacky when dry. And the other fun thing that I'm going to work with today is a new spreading tool called a butter spreader. We're going to use it to spread tacky when dry. And it makes the work of this very, very easy. Very easy. So I've got my tacky when dry out here. And if you haven't used this before, it's a medium that when it dries, it's still sticky, and it lets you cold foil things very easily. You don't have to have a machine or anything. And I love that because I'm all about simplicity. If I haven't said that enough times, I really like simplicity. And I'm just going to put a little bit of tacky when dry here down with my palette knife. Always make sure to put the lid back on so it doesn't dry out. And then I'm going to use this to spread this tacky when dry across this cardstock. Look how easy that is. Same thing, just right down here. One of the things about working with this, it does take a little bit of time to dry. So the piece that I'm going to demo today, I applied my tacky when dry about an hour ago, and I've been letting it air dry. So like this is the kind, if you want to apply this overnight or apply it and then let it air dry, it's, in my opinion, the best way to do it. I hesitate to use the heat tool with this because you can, but you run the risk of getting it too hot and then it could bubble up. And when you're foiling, you want to have a really smooth surface of your medium. And that's why using this spreader really takes all the work out of it, because it gives you a very smooth, like clean, even surface to foil on. So I'm going to lift this out. And you see we've got a beautifully stenciled piece of paper here with that tacky when dry medium. So the cool thing about this is whenever this tacky when dry is wet, it is white, milky white. Whenever it dries, it becomes clear. So I'm going to set this one to the side because I've got one that's already dry. And I am going to put it to the side where I can't touch it, because if it stays anywhere in this vicinity on my table, somehow my fingers will get in it and it will get messed up. So I'm going to set it far, far, far away. And I'm going to get the piece that I've already stenciled and allowed to dry. Now, can you see where it's on there? It looks like it's kind of watermarked. It's already dry, but it's clear. So there's no mistaking where it is. It's on there, but it's just clear. And now we're going to foil that. Again, I'm using foil transfer sheets from the Crafters Workshop and champagne gold as the color. So to apply this, couldn't be easier. I'm going to lay it down on top of this Merry Christmas and then just burnish it with my finger. This is going to be so pretty. I already know. Look how pretty. And this red and gold is the classic Christmas color palette. Then on the bottom here, I'm just going to get another piece of foil. The Crafters Workshop foils are 6x6 pieces. And I've trimmed these down a little bit because I've used pieces here and there. But this is going to be really nice because it's going to be like just the classic Christmas card. And I'm just burnishing this with my fingers. It's so easy to do. You don't have to get any kind of burnishing tool or anything. And if you see there's an area that didn't take, you can go back and add, just put a little more foil on it. Sometimes you might get an area that didn't have as much gel on it, but it's easy to do. Now we've got our pieces that are foiled, and I want to cut those out. So I've got a paper trimmer. My time is getting so close, and I still got to show you this card because it's so pretty. It's so classic craft and white color palette. So I'm just going to trim this foiled piece. I'm so excited about these cards. This is what my Christmas cards are going to look like this year. I've just decided because they're fun and they're easy to make and they're really quite pretty. On the stencil, there's a line that lets you see where to cut. It's a little registration line. And just for the sake of speed, I'm going to forego like showing that because I think that I can kind of do this by sight. And because it's like you can kind of get, after you've worked with it a little bit, with the stencil a little bit, you kind of can see like where that line would be. And this is me hoping and praying that I did right. I think it's going to be good. Okay, here comes the fun part, putting it together. And again, I'm going to use, I'm going to use liquid adhesive on this. The mirror stock is usually pretty heavy, and it needs a little bit of a heavier adhesive, but you could use foam squares. You could use your tape adhesive, but just because I know that this is like kind of heavy, I'm going to use liquid, but you wouldn't have to. And if you hang out with me long enough, I'm going to show you bad habits. And because I eyeballed that, I got it just a little bit off. And I'm going to show you the bad habit of how to trim that. I just went ahead and glued it down and then moved it because I got liquid adhesive. And I just trimmed that little piece off. There's a bad habit number one that I've showed you today. But I mean, I just like to do things that work. And that's a way to know that this works. Now I'm going to use some liquid adhesive and apply this to the holly frame. So when I practiced doing these in my head, I was able to work a lot faster than whenever I'm doing them in person. Again, I'm going to get the liquid adhesive. And look how pretty that is. Very classic. Got that red and gold foiled look. That's a classic. I love that. Okay, I've got 1 minute left and I want to show you how to put this card together. I used craft paper and the same stencil, but instead of this time, I used one of the new stencil butters that's called Seashell, and it's very pretty. It's like kind of a creamy white seashell, and applied it the same way that I applied this tacky when dry, using seashell and the butter spreader on a piece of craft. Okay, and then I have extra pieces here, so I'm going to put one together very, very quickly. I use the Season's Greetings. I'm going to use liquid adhesive because it's the... No, I'm going to use a tape runner. Okay, I'll use tape runner. That'll be fast too. And I think there's a break coming up here, Brian. So if I'm a minute over, please forgive me on that. And you know one reason I love this color palette, craft and white? I'm not even kidding. To me, it reminds me of gingerbread cookies. Like, you know, the kind of gingerbread cookies that have like, they might be little animals and little gingerbread men. And then they have icing, and they have a really like delicious flavor of icing on them. That's why I love this color palette, because it reminds me of those old-fashioned iced gingerbread cookies. Well, this is one of those times where the hurrier I go, the behinder I get, because everything I'm touching now is getting cattywampus. don't know if I said this out loud or if I just imagined it, but this time I made the card out of craft paper because if you have a white gel pen, you can write on that in white gel pen and it'll be stunning, very fashionable. So if I didn't say it out loud there it is. If I said it out loud and forgot that I said it, oops, thanks for listening again. Thank you so much for letting me be part of the Shop Small Saturday. It's been a real privilege to be here on Shop Small Saturday with you at One of a Kind. I'm really excited about it and very appreciative. It's always so much fun to be part of the One of a Kind events. And now just look how pretty that is. Doesn't that look like a classic Christmas card? It's got that classic craft and white color palette, and it looks just like an iced gingerbread cookie. So just a quick reminder before I go here, shop small today at kenolivercrafts.com. If you use the code SHOP, SHOPE, all in caps, orders over $40 will get 20% off. And the other special I have, and this is completely separate, you can't combine these, is CLEAR. Use the discount code CLEAR, CLEAR, all caps, in the discount code section when you check out to get 75% off all CLEAR stamps. Now those specials cannot be combined, so it would be two separate orders to do that. So thanks again. Look at all the beautiful cards we made today using one stencil. I'm really quite happy with the various looks that we made and the way that they looked. In 45 minutes, we made all these beautiful cards. So thanks again, everybody, and have a great holiday season and Merry Christmas, everybody. Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye. See you next year. Bye-bye. Thanks again. You can always catch up with me at Ken Oliver Crafts on Facebook too. Thanks. Bye.